Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Friday, October the 18th. The year's 2024. Let's talk trading. Weekly wrap-up. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And just a friendly reminder as we end the week. Risk management. Never lose more on any one single trade than you are willing to lose. So for the week, we're almost back to the open. We're only about 8 or 9 pips below the weekly open on the pound. We're 56 off the high, 74 off the low. And we have a couple of gaps that haven't filled. The Australian US dollar and the New Zealand US dollar. If we zoom out to the month, we can see that we are in the lower wick zone of the previous month. We are 385 pips off that monthly open, 342 off the high, and 75, now 76 off the low. And notice we are back inside the opening range for the week. We're still below the opening range for the month, and we're above the opening range for the year. But if you notice, it looks like we actually hit the high of the opening range for the week, and then we've retreated. You know, if you look here yesterday, even on the daily, you can see that was a flip-flop box. You've got a turn trade. You're coming off a couple of areas in the past which shot the pound up here, right around that $1.30 mark, and you can see right through that upper wick zone all the way up. Notice you could almost consider this a big range bar when you look at and you can see we went right back to the open. So once again, some of the things I've been showing traders, you can see that they're able to be used on various time frames, whether you want to trade the 1 minute or the daily or the weekly or the monthly. Those trades, I guess you could call them robust. For the year, we are 338 pips above the yearly open, 384 off the high, 752 off the low at the moment. We had an inside bar 5 days ago, and you can see that we are back within that inside bar range, and looking at the dashboard, there's inside bars to be had on many pairs if you like trading inside bars. For the range, looking today, only 3 pairs 100 or better. Pound clocking in at 69 pips. Slightly still an anemic day. Notice we crisscrossed that weekly open a few times today. And remember, the area between the daily and the weekly open, I usually call that no man's land. You can trade it, but it's like, to me, the market or the pair, the traders haven't made up their mind which way they want things to go. So usually there's an oscillation. And you can see here, once again, trading a weekly open, it can be profitable. Just that one simple trade when it comes up. Now, it doesn't come up every day, but usually you can get it a couple times a week. Now, something that does come up every day is the rat zone. And the rat zone is large enough, and you can see right here the red rats have feasted once. They had a nibble the second time. Notice here, we didn't complete this big range bar or return bar, but we got past the halfway point. So, once again, something to be targeted. Bambino Flex indicator said to go long, but price, the pivot trading plan said price at the pivot was short, and it looks like the pivot trading plan hasn't worked out today. Price near R1 was short. That didn't work out, and almost reached R3. So Bambino Flex indicator was definitely spot on today. As far as pivots, we took out the daily pivot. We have 4 open pivots in August, 1 in July, 2 in May, 1 in April. But so far, October has no missed pivots. For the week, we still have a missed pivot from last week. And for the month, no missed pivots. In and out of that upper wick zone today. There's a nice move to the upside. There was also in and out to the downside. But notice, looking left, there was a lot of buying pressure. So we put in this little range here at the end of the trading day yesterday. And you can see what happened. For the week, 129 pip range. Very anemic at the 8% level for the last 12 weeks. High minus previous high did not happen. Missed it by 32 pips. Previous low minus the low, though, we actually moved 48 pips to the downside. And the same as last week. High minus close 52 for the red rats. Close minus low 77 for the green rats. And for the weekly open crossover traders, high minus open 46, open minus low 83. Looking at some of the action today, we already noticed we had this big range bar, came back down, and has moved back up. Now it's moving back down. So, but you can see here, higher lows on these pullbacks, meaning price usually wants to go up. And looking here from the day down to the M15 candle, and now all the way, we've got green. Notice though, very anemic day. Even look at the M30. We only have these 3 here over the last 4 hours that are above 10 pips. So slow day. Looking at the lower high, higher low, you can see here just had a trigger. Nice move to the upside, almost hitting that 50% Fibonacci retrace between the 3 balls. And we had a higher low trigger here. You can see lower highs. So taking that trade, if you stayed in it, you were rewarded. Probably a place to exit would have either been here, here, or when you got that turn trade to the north. And that could have been a nice trade over 30, no, about 10 pips, 61 to 52, 9, maybe 10 pips depending on what you wanted to collect. And you know, once again, I've been talking with some traders and texting and emailing, and it seems like it's really easy to see, at least for me, how traders can get themselves in trouble. And I try to give them some heads up. You know, there's some smart people on this planet. Some of them are really smart, you know. And there's some people who aren't so smart. But the funny thing is about trading is a lot of times the smart people don't make as much as the people who aren't so smart. And that's because people who aren't so smart sometimes follow the rules better They pay attention better. They absorb the material better. They study the material better because they're working harder. Whereas smart people, they may be putting in the effort, but it's usually directed towards, making themselves look smart, feel smart. Oh, I can do it better. And every now and then somebody does do it better. Every now and then somebody sees something that they can exploit and make money with. But it's usually, I like to call them the micro lot traders that are the most vocal. They have very little skin in the game. They've probably never traded a full lot or 10 lots or 100 lots at a whack. So their experience is somewhat limited. But, it's sometimes it's fun to listen to them because you never know where you might learn something new. Sometimes you might learn what not to do. And sometimes you just might learn a different way of looking at things, which might allow you to see something you've never seen before and then exploit it. But I just see how so many people can get themselves into trouble. I guess after, being, you get to be older. I don't know if it's wisdom, experience, but it's like you've seen so many things you can distinguish the BS, from reality. And you get to see all these different games that are being played, and you see them for exactly what they are, which are games. But anyway, that's just something that, so fellow traders, if you keep it simple, trade what you see, pick one thing, pick one instrument to trade, do it over and over again, and just get good at it. And then you might not ever need to change a thing. Sometimes I wish I would have taken that advice, that's for sure. It took me a while to get there. And I'm working on the indicator. As you can see, there's a few things that screwed up. This is the big range bar indicator. And what I've done is, before it was just doing one. Well, I've given it some options. And one of the options is having a minimum range. If it's less than 2 pips in this case, I don't put it on there. It's because what it says is go back and look at the last 60 bars and every 10 bars evaluated. So bars 1 to 10, 11 to 20 and so on. Show me where the big range bar is in there, so long as it's bigger than 2 pips. And I got to fix something to get these labels. And what you can see with this is, I also put the crisscrossed option. So if it's been hit, it's going to show that as a dashed. And so when you can see there's more dashes, then you can see that, you know what, there must be something here. So, take this big range bar, for example. Came back, price came right back to it. Or this big range bar. Price came back to it, but you can see for some reason I got to work on that indicator. And then you can see here another one. Price came back to it. So it's just something I've been working on, and I had that idea, so I want to go in and really dial it in. So yeah, if I click back and back and forth, change time frames, it seems to clear it up. But I just got to go in and fix the code. I'm not sure what I forgot to do or shouldn't be doing. But as I mentioned here, price came back to the open. Here, price came back to the open. Here, price came back to the open twice. Here, price came back to the open. But you can see there's a couple up here that price hasn't come back to the open. And already you can see. So I got to work on that before I send out the updated version. So, fellow traders, just about out of time. It's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumple One. Over